In this video, we are going to talk about two of the very important topics of mathematics, which are factors and multiples. Now let's talk about both of these one by one. First of all, let's talk about what are factors. A factor of a number is an exact divisor of that number, right? Let's try to understand this with an example. Let's try to find out the factors of the number 4. Okay, how are we going to find it out? Let's see. Let's try to divide 4 with number 1. Okay, so 1 4s are 4. When we subtract, we get the remainder as 0, right? On dividing 4 by 1, we are getting the remainder 0. And in the previous video, we talked that if the remainder is 0, that means the divisor that we are using is an exact divisor, right? So in this case, 1 is an exact divisor, and as per the definition of factor, all the numbers which are exact divisors are the factors, right? When we divide a number with some other number, if the remainder is 0, right? Remainder is 0 means that is an exact divisor, and the number which is an exact divisor is also a factor, right? So we can say that 1 is a factor of 4, right? 1, right? Let's try to find other factors. Let's try to divide 4 by 2. 2 2s are 4. Now again the remainder is 0. If the remainder is 0, that means 2 is an exact divisor, right? If this is an exact divisor, also means that 2 is a factor of 4. Okay, let's write 2 also. Now try with 3. 3 ones are 3 and the remainder is 1, right? Now the remainder is 1 and not 0. So it means 3 is not an exact divisor and also not a factor. So we will not write 3 here, right? Now let's try to divide 4 by 4 divided by 4. 4 ones are 4 and the remainder is 0. Now in this case also our remainder is 0, which means this number is a factor. 1, 2 and then 4, right? Now if we try to divide 4 with some numbers which are greater than this number, definitely we are not going to get 0, right? So from here what we get is factors of 4 are 1, 2 and 4. Now let's jump to the second most important topic, which is a multiple of a number. A multiple of a number is a product of the given number and some other natural number. When we multiply the given number with some other natural number, the number that we get, that will be a multiple of that number. For example, let's try to find the multiples of 6, right? Now what the definition is saying, product of a given number. Here in this case the given number is 6, right? 6 multiplied by product of a given number and some other natural number. Natural numbers are 1, 2, 3 up to n numbers, right? Let's take 1, right? 6 into 1, what it will be? 6, right? So 6 is what? 6 is a multiple of 6. Okay, now let's multiply the given number 6 with other natural number, that is 2. Now we get 12. 12. Similarly, we can get 6 into 3, 18. 18 is also multiple. Let's say 6 multiplied by 8, it's 48. 48 is also a factor of 6, right? So this way we can simply calculate the multiple of a number. Here one point to be noted is all the multiples of a number are either equal to that number or are greater than the number, right? Now let's discuss some of the points related to the factors. 1 is a factor of every number. Now one thing to understand is, if we divide any number with 1, it will be divisible by 1, right? And the remainder will be 0, right? If the remainder is 0, that means that number is a factor, right? So 1 can divide any number. So 1 is a factor of every number. Okay. Second point, every number is a factor of itself. For example, let's take 10 and let's divide 10 with 10 only, right? 10 ones are 10 and the remainder is 0. If the remainder is 0, then that means 10 is a factor of 10. Similarly, let's take other example. Let's say we take 24, right? And divide it by 24. 24 ones are 24. The remainder is 0. So if the remainder is 0, then that means this number is a factor of this. Understand? Every number is a factor of itself. Okay. Let me erase this. Now the next point. Every factor is an exact divisor of that number. This we discussed from the definition, right? That each factor will be an exact divisor of that number. Okay. So the other point is, every factor is less than or equal to that number, right? Every factor, all the factors of a given number will be either equal to that number or it will be lesser than that number. Number of factors of a given number are finite. Okay. Now let's discuss some of the points related to the multiples of. A multiple of a number is greater than or equal to that number. So by the definition of multiple, if you remember, multiple is what? A multiple is the product of the given number. Let's say the given number is 7. Multiple is a product of the given number and any natural number, right? And natural number starts from 1 and it will go up to infinite, right? Let's say 7 into 1 is 7, and if I do like 7 into 7, it will be 49, and we can take any natural number and multiply it by 7 to get the multiple of that number. Multiple of a number is greater than or equal to that number. So the least multiple is 7 and it is equal to that number, right? Or if I will do 7 into 2, it will be 14. Now this is greater than that number but not less than that number. So what it says is, multiple of a number is greater than or equal to that number. Understood? Second point, number of multiples of a given number is infinite. Whereas we discussed the number of factors of a given number is finite. Okay? Do remember this. Third point, every number is a multiple of itself. See, 7 into 1, 7, and which means 7 is a multiple of 7 only, which means every number is a multiple of itself. Now let's talk about perfect numbers. A perfect number is a number for which sum of all its factors is equal to twice that number. Okay, let's try to understand this with an example. So in one of the previous videos where we discussed that the factors of 6, where I discussed my interaction with Ramesh Pandit, a famous mathematician of the town, we did one very interesting activity and we tried to find the factors of 6, right? In that activity, we found the factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3 and 6, right? So let's try to understand the perfect number. A number for which the sum of all its factors. Let's first add all the factors. What are our factors? These are 1, 2, 3 and 6. Let's add them. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 6. Let's add this. 6 plus 3, 9. 9 and 2, 11. 11 plus 1, 12. 12, right? Now, what the definition is saying is, sum of all its factors should be equal to twice that number. The given number is 6 and twice of that number means multiplied by 2, and 6 multiplied by 2 is 12, right? Sum of all the factors is equal to twice the number, right? These are same, which means 6 is a perfect number.